Well, you're fine. Finish off. And you're good. Yeah.
I got to trail up my truck and take it home. Both of them must do it all of a sudden everything I had working with them. Hey, how are you? Good.
Alicia, are you expecting anybody on the go-to? No? So it doesn't matter? Okay.
Not intentional. No girls versus boys. Ben just said here, segregation. Not intentional.
Saturday? Yeah. What is it?
The firefighters provide a little extra support.
Give you motivation.
Denied. Motion denied.
I said, Marshalltown firefighters are volunteers to protect their areas. And he said he wasn't sure.
I've heard nothing. I think Jack, I can just catch you ducks wherever they end up, where the ducks end up.
Are you?
Oh, nice. I would venture to guess that it's going to happen because I have it on. It's on Lynn Creek, right? It's like knee deep. things. Ice Commanders.
I call this meeting to order of the Marshalltown City Council. We're in the City Hall Council Chambers at 10 West State Street. It is May 11th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. Would you join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. Can we have roll call, please?
Cahill.
Here.
Fonseca. Here. Mitchell.
Here.
Nichols.
Here.
Schneider.
Here.
Thompson.
Here.
Yepes Gomez.
Here. Okay, full house. Now we move on to public comment. Members of the public may make comments on any item that is not on the agenda at this time. The speaker shall approach the microphone and state their name and address. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes unless a longer comment is authorized by the mayor. The speaker shall direct comments to the mayor and the council as a whole. The mayor and council may provide a response to a public comment, but shall not engage in discussion or debate on items raised by members of the public. No action may be taken on items raised in public comment in order to comply with open meetings laws. And with that, public comment.
Tim Bradbury, 12 North 10th Avenue. I saw something that concerned me, and I talked to Kelsey about it, but doing the school bus tonight, that they had to be third or fourth graders crossing that busy 6th Street, going from the park to Quick Start area, but they wasn't going to the store, and just taking their time with all 4 lanes full of traffic. And I don't know what we can do to slow that down. It's really the parents' responsibility, but I don't want to see something happen if we have any fencing in storage or anything, but then you still have the driveway entrance that they would probably still come out of that. They're not going under the bridge and the bike path. And I seen a lady use her stroller to go against the traffic, thinking everybody's going to stop for her. Unfortunately, everybody did. But I think we got a potential big problem over there. Somehow we need to put some heads together and see if we can do something to, kids ain't going to read signs, but something that just really concerns me, dealing with young people there, and whether it's people or adults, people don't use their head or don't think about it. But that was one concern. The other one was, I don't want to see what happened 2 years ago happen again. And I got a call about it, and it's with the loud music, what can we do, or loud banging noise, whatever they do with their bass and everything. And it's also happened in my area, 2 blocks down, several different areas. And I know the police are busy, they have a lot of things going on. I hate to see them have to be involved, but is there any way, is there any laws that we can enforce, or is there something that can help out so things don't turn violent because they got a busy schedule and it's obnoxious, but yet it's not, people shouldn't have to shut their windows and doors to keep it out. And when it's way overboard, is there something that's out there that if they start enforcing a few times, word would spread? Or do we have even anything on the agenda that is enforceable? But I'd like to see that talked about sometime. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Alicia Edelman, 405 Bromley Street. As a resident, I want to bring to your attention a matter that is causing me concern regarding the hiring practices of seasonal staff positions. My daughter has applied the past 2 years at the Aquatic Center when she was 16 and 17. She was interviewed both times and then not chosen to be hired. And this would have been her first job, so she didn't have a lot of experience on her application. But I thought that was the point of these type of jobs. Then this year, she tells me she knows 2 kids that were hired, both now and years past, that live here in Marshalltown and were not hired as lifeguard, but as concessions help and slides. The same job she interviewed for and was turned down for. As someone who spent 20 years paying taxes here, I'd like to suggest that we begin to prioritize the residents who live here when we're making employment decisions. We talk a lot about buying local, which is great, but maybe we should talk about hiring local as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Lonnie Hoagland, 1408 East Main. I'm still here to say I'd like everybody to try and talk and speak their mind, speak their piece, try and keep it friendly. If you come up with a complaint, offer a solution for the complaint. I was kind of accidentally, inadvertently shut down last week because I was going to accidentally ask for a third time to talk, blah, blah, blah. great idea. I respect Mr. Mayor's idea. I honor that's cool. I would move that we make it to 5 minutes and that's it. You get shut down and you can't talk again next week and next week and next week. But try and keep everyone friendly. Some people get where it's really negative about things. We got to be positive, optimistic, and I don't know all the open meetings rules, but draw a line in the sand and try and make Marshalltown better and everybody be positive.
Thank you, Lonnie. Anyone else? Okay. Moving on to mayor, council, and administrator comments.
Your Honor.
Yes.
Thank you. I do have kind of an announcement of one of our groups in our community. The Marshalltown United Way is having a fundraising event this Saturday that is 2 events back-to-back, the duck races and the Trash to Splash boat race. You can still purchase a duck for $5 a piece to float down Lynn Creek, or you can get a quack pack for $25 a piece, 6 ducks for $25. You don't get to keep the handy container though. But the United Way does a lot of things in our community that helps fill the gaps of what we can't do within our city government structure. Anyone from United Way can sell you a duck and you can participate in the Trash to Splash boat race starting at 2 p.m. skate park at the trailhead of the bridge there. And I do want to comment that our mayor, he helped Woodbury School hold a duck race many years ago, and it was very successful. It was an easy way to raise some money, get some things out that needed to be done. Thank you for your time, Mr. Mayor.
Not a problem. Yes.
We have the opportunity this year of having Ragbri come through our town July 22nd. And what we need of is some of our fine citizens to show off their hospitality and be willing to host. What you need is a backyard with some grass, willing to share their toilet, and if there's a storm, God forbid, that you give them an emergency shelter, a place to stay. So anybody interested, you go to Ragbri Marshalltown. There's a button for plan your stay, and there's a host form that you could sign up for. We'd appreciate it.
Okay. Anyone else? I have been asked to announce that we're going to have a free compost day. It will be Saturday, May 16th, 2026, this year, from 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. There'll be no charge at the compost center. On the same day, we will have the household hazardous material drop-off day on May 16th from 8 a.m. till 11 a.m. So you can bring unused paints, that type of thing down, and that will also be down at Riverview Park. And then also, we are going to have large item junk drop-off from 8 to 11, and that is at Riverview Park. Now, we are not accepting tires, appliances, that type of thing, but if you've got an old couch, recliner, mattresses, anything like that, you can bring them down between 8 and 11 on May 16th to Riverview Park and drop them in the dumpsters, and we're going to take care of it. So, did I do that right, Heather? I'm getting a thumbs up. Okay. That is all I have for comments. Moving on to, Carol, did you have any comments?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Okay. Moving on to National Police Week and dedication.
Good evening, Chris Jones, Chief of Police. In 1962, President John F. Kennedy made a proclamation to allow for May 15th of every year to be recognized as Police Memorial Day. And during that week of May 15th, we've designated the entire week to recognize our law enforcement, peace officers, and National Peace Week. So we're right in the middle of that process now. And National Police Week It gives us an opportunity to think back and recognize the officers, especially that have lost their lives in the line of duty. Here in Marshalltown, for the Marshalltown Police Department, we had lost one officer in the history of our community, Patrolman Glenn Krause, who had died in January 22nd of 1954 in a single vehicle car crash involving in a police pursuit. Our Marshall County Sheriff's Office had lost a jailer, Harry E. Davis, who was shot and killed inside the Marshall County Jail September 9th, 1978, after he was mistaken for sheriff at the time, Bud Gonzalez. And he was killed nearly 2 weeks after he had started employment as a part-time jailer with our Sheriff's Office. It's with heavy hearts that we remember, but we, outside of just this general week, we want to make sure that our community remembers those that have lost their lives and the families that are grieving with that loss and will continue to grieve with that loss. This week also gives us an opportunity to show recognition to our supported family members, police officers, retirees, and all the individuals that helped us build our police department throughout the history. And what you'll end up finding out is that many of us that are standing here and that are in the back of this room are really products of the leadership that we've had in our agency for decades. We've had a wonderful police department. We have wonderful community support. And it just continually gives us an opportunity to recognize all the hard work that all these officers and all the officers that are on the street and in our investigative division and support services are doing on a daily basis. This week also gives us an opportunity to thank the Times Republican for the wonderful working relationship that we've had for the last 13 years in developing an Employee of the Year award, where we share that responsibility from the police department and the Times Republican to recognize one staff member that has been nominated by all our department through an elected process, and we have made that selection for this year. Captain Sadie Weekly, who's over there against the wall, leads a committee members, and we take nominations from all of our staff that are available throughout the year, and then we make the rough and tough decision on which employee that is going to receive that award. This year we had 14 nominations, which was the highest that we've ever had in the 13 years that we've done this program. And for those of you that have known me or been involved in that hiring process, one of the things that I had said that I was out to instill was a culture of grace within our department, and ensuring that not only do we show appreciation for the community and the jobs that we have, but we show appreciation and accountability for each other. And I believe that we're slowly making those efforts year after year. And I very much appreciate all of the things that our staff has done, and not only the work that they do, but the fact that they're recognizing the great work that other people are doing, and we're making our officers better every day. Of the 14 nominations that were made this year, our department had selected Officer Brian Morrison as our recipient for Employee of the Year. Come on up. Being much younger and better looking than I am, he is a West Marshall graduate. Can't be more excited about having someone that resides in the Marshall County area, in Marshalltown, to be on the police department. We really seek out those individuals because I think they bring a unique element to the service that we're providing. Officer Morrison started in August of 2023, and in that time has made a huge impact on our department. What I try to instill, and our leadership team tries to instill, is really three different aspects when we hire staff members. One of them is we want people that are proactive, and people that will go out and take their calls for service, but when they're not busy taking their calls for service, they go find other work to do to fill in their time. Another aspect are people that are involved in investigations, people that are able to work those small investigations, whether it's just a simple theft or criminal mischief that somebody had called and reported, to larger investigations, homicide, shooting, etc. And people that can build those skills in interviewing and build those skills in digging down on those complex investigations. The other aspect, and sometimes it's a little bit more difficult to convince new officers of this, but we also ask for community engagement. We ask officers to be out in schools. We ask officers to go out in the community and meet in businesses and be friendly and participate in the community activities that we have here and that we offer here in Marshalltown. And one of the things that Officer Morrison has done in the short time that he's been here is he's embraced all three of those aspects, and he's taken them all on wholeheartedly. Taking a look at how young he is and finding out that he has a big picture approach, there's no doubt that he is a future leader within our agency, and continually learning, continually assessing the things that he's doing, and gets better and better every year. He's played critical roles in homicide, shooting investigations, drug investigations. 2005, he's a life-saving award recipient for helping to save a gentleman who had hit his head in Hy-Vee and went to cardiac arrest. And this last April, he was one of the recipients of the Pause and Order Award by the ARL for his compassion in dealing with an animal call for service. So very, very proud. You're never going to find a more humble person that's going to want to do a better job, and we're looking forward to not only continually with his positive attitude, but looking at all the things that you're going to be able to accomplish in the future. And I want to congratulate you on being the Employee of the Year. Yep, thank you. All of you. If you want to take that out, I can just put this up here. Congratulations. Thank you. You sure you don't want to say anything?
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. Counselor Thompson has asked for us to pull item 1, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 16, and also Counselor Mitchell has asked for item 17. So what we will be voting on the consent agenda is number 2, 3, 4, 7, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 18.
Move to approve.
Okay.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Nichols? Yes. Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Yepes Gomez?
Yes.
Cahill?
Yes.
Fonseca? Yes.
Okay, back to item number 1.
Approve minutes for the April 27th, 26th meeting, and the bill list in the amount of $1,652,931.01.
You approve?
I move to approve.
Second.
Okay.
I'll just make this real quick. We don't have to do this every time. All 9 were polled. Well, I can't speak for Councilman Mitchell, but they were all polled at the request of citizens, and I think the public knows that if there's ever something on the consent agenda that they feel they want to discuss, all they have to do is call me, get a hold of me. I will pull it, because I think everybody has a right to speak about everything we do. So all the ones I polled were at the request of a citizen. So,
Is the citizen here?
yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Mark Eaton, 1007 South 10th Avenue. It's been a while since I've been up here. So I wanted to talk about the bills list, not about the minutes. That's fine, but so Alicia's being kind enough for me to pull this bill list up. And if you scroll down past all of this, this is the item, in case nobody's looked at this, this is the itemized list of all the charges that we've paid. Let's go clear down to the individual accounts, please. And if, keep going, please, keep going. Oh, no, I guess it's the summary then? Sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
Burning my time.
I haven't started it. There we go.
Okay, so you'll notice in your agenda, it says 1.6 million. But there's a section of this that's all rents. Just so you know, and on this one, it's about 90,000. Just so you know, that's a pass-through for HUD housing. It doesn't really affect our expenses, but I want to talk about money tonight since we're going to talk about money and taking it out of our pocket. So if you scroll down just one page, you can see up to the rents. You can see this whole section in this first column, and then the next page up is all rents for HUD. We actually get paid for doing HUD for like 6 counties, and the city makes a revenue about $260,000 a year off from managing the HUD process. So.
Okay. We had a motion to approve.
Yes. We have a motion and a second.
Roll call, please.
Cahill?
Yes.
Fonseca?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Yepes Gomez?
Yes.
Okay. Let's move on to number 5.
Receipt of April 2026 Building and Trade Permit Report.
There a motion to approve?
Move to approve. Second.
Okay. You have a question about the report?
Me again, yeah.
Okay.
So one of the things the report doesn't tell us is what the tax implications are of new buildings. And I think that's important, and we need to see that as
Your Honor-
taxpayers.
Your Honor, do we need name and address?
Oh,
Yes.
Mark Eaton, 1007 South 10th Avenue.
Can you just, what's your question on?
Yeah, my question and comment is that we need some totals that show us what the tax implications are. For example, I think we're building about 20 new residences, which increases our tax revenue. How much? Since we want to talk about money today and the money that we're short or whatever. So just a comment. We've made, over the last 27 years, we've added about 100 million in revenue, taxable property value. So.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Yepes Gomez?
Yes.
Cahill?
Yes.
Fonseca?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to number 6.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Fonseca?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Yepes Gomez?
Yes.
Cahill?
Yes.
Okay, number 8.
Move to approve.
Number 6.
Did I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
Would you like me to introduce the item, Your Honor?
Yes, go ahead.
So this item is a resolution to adopt a revenue purpose statement and set a public hearing for a proposed 3% gas utility franchise fee with Interstate Power and Light, also known as Alliant Energy. Council had previously directed staff to move forward with a 3% electric and gas franchise fee for property tax relief and for public safety. Tonight's action does not adopt the franchise fee ordinance. It sets the process in motion by adopting the revenue purpose statement and scheduling the public hearing for June 8th of 2026. Under the proposed revenue purpose statement, franchise fee revenue would first cover the costs related to regulating the franchise. Of the remaining funds, at least 33% would be used for property tax relief, and the balance would be used for public safety purposes. Staff does recommend approval of the resolution.
Okay? Any
Your Honor?
further? Yes.
Yeah, so I support the resolution. What I would like to amend is to make an amendment that the rollout be in the next city election of November of 2027. At that point in time, we'd also have a clear picture of what the effects of the property tax reform has on city budgets as well, and the citizens would be able to make the decision on what they wanted to support and cut.
Do we have a second on that?
Second.
Okay.
I have a question for the city administrator on that, though, the way that was just worded, Your Honor. This resolution to fix a date is about the council moving forward with 3 readings of an ordinance. So amending this to fix an election date, that's, I guess I need to understand the legal procedure on that.
Yeah, so I think what would need to happen is that we would just need to revisit the timeline in a discussion format, and just have a vote on this particular resolution.
So what you're saying is this, to be appropriate, this would be at the first discussion.
Yeah, so I think if council desires to reset the timeline for the election, that you would vote no on this particular ordinance, and then we would bring with direction to bring a topic back for discussion.
Your Honor?
Yes.
Carol, can you let us know the timeline real quick on that?
The timeline for the,
For the resolution?
you mean the timeline if it was to go to a regular election? Or what's the timeline now if it were to be passed today?
Yes.
Let me pull up the memo. I've got that in the memo. So May 11th today would be adopting the revenue purpose statement and setting the public hearing. June 8th would be holding the public hearings and having the first reading of the ordinances. June 22nd would be the second reading, and July 13th would be the third reading of the ordinances. That would be the timeline if you follow this schedule.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, if
Yeah.
I may,
Yes.
there will be a petition that will force an election on this. I guarantee it. And if your timeline is followed, if the city administrator's timeline is followed, that petition has to be turned in before that third reading by law. And if Alicia does her job and verifies the signatures and turns it over to the county, your election will be a special election in September of this year, costing the taxpayers about, Councilor Nichols and I were on the phone with the county officer in charge of elections, and it's $15,000 to $20,000 for that. So if I may, I think that's where Councilman Nichols was going. We know there's going to be a petition. We know this is not going to get through 3 readings. So why don't we vote no on these tonight, come back and just set a date of an election for a general election, which is November of 2027, since we know it's going to go to an election, and that election is a city school board election, and it would save us the money because we believe the EMS is coming to vote in March in a special election. So taxpayers are already going to be paying for 1 special election. I don't see why we need to make them pay for 2, 1 in September and 1 in March. And hopefully I didn't put too many words in Councilman Nichols' mouth, but I think that's the point he was trying to make.
Is that the point you were making?
It's in line with that. I know there's going to be a petition, so I want this to be a vote that's acted on by the public as a way to do it, because I think at that point in time, it'll be very clear we're making some choices, and the public needs to know what their choices are.
Any other comments?
I think the council's already decided the path we'd like to take, so I think we should just vote this through.
Your Honor, I have a comment as well. I know one of the discussion points that we had, and after the last election for this, is that we needed more time to educate the public, and I really question that having an election in September provides us that adequate amount of time. We have a lot of things going on, and when this came up to vote the last time, we had already, at the same meeting, increased the transit levy. We had increased our waterworks levy, and we had set an increase for our property tax levy. I think holding this off for a year would give a breath to people and to our citizens and to myself, a retired lady on a fixed income, that we cannot raise everything at once. And so I would approve of delaying the election until the 2027 date in September, November, whenever it was. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? Well, there's two ways to do this.
Public?
Any questions from the public? Yes, go ahead.
Lane Perry, 20 State Street. I'm kind of confused, first off, where we're at this point. We're on 8, right? But we're talking about all of the ones that are involved kind of in that?
Yes, there's 3 in a row.
Right. Okay, cool. Because I wrote stuff before everything got pulled, so I'm just going to read what I have and hope that it works. Because I just wanted to briefly comment on the consent agenda, the items related to the franchise fee. I understand the need to address revenue. I think that's a very important conversation to have. And I'll be honest, I'm still trying to wrap my head around what the best long-term approach would look like. My concern is more about the structure of this process and the risk it can create. When decisions are brought forward and then the public reacts, it can unintentionally create a people versus city government dynamic. That doesn't mean anything is being done wrong, but we've seen that even reasonable ideas can become difficult to sustain if they don't feel broadly shared. One way to reduce that risk might be to adjust the sequence slightly. First, defining clear guardrails around what types of revenue tools are acceptable and what goals we're trying to solve for. Second, gathering input in a more intentional way, like surveys or targeted outreach, so it's not limited to who can attend city council meetings. And third, using that input to guide a final decision, whether that's moving forward by ordinance or going to a vote. I don't think this necessarily needs to add a ton of time overall, but it can help having to revisit the same issue later. Given the history of this topic, I just encourage treating it as something that may benefit from a more focused discussion rather than being grouped with routine items. I do want to say, though, in general, I am in favor of this. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mark Eaton, 1007 South 10th Avenue. Yes, there will be a petition. I headed up the last petition in 2023 where we got the signatures and had the special election, and it was voted down 77% no, 23% yes. And this council basically wants to, again, knowing that that's been the past, wants to essentially force everyone to go get a petition and spend $20,000. Potentially, that's what you want to do. And waiting for a November election, like has been proposed, seems like the best way. You want the time to educate the people? Because last time we didn't have the time either. And basically we said, oh, it's all going to roads. But we didn't say which roads. And everybody wanted to know which roads because everybody knows how we operate. And now 66% going to public safety. What does that mean? We're going to buy more flock cameras, speed cameras. We're going to fund impact. What does this mean to the public? That's what we need the education for. per Ms. Cahill. So I think you should vote all three down so that we can put it on the November election. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Doris Kinnick, 2020 Catalina Place. I agree with what Mark said, and I also agree with what Councilman Cahill has said. We need time. We need to educate the people, see exactly where this money is going to go. And it should be set up to, it should be, the people should decide. And right now, if you're looking at gas prices, they're going up. So again, be aware of where the money is going. Thank you very much.
Okay. Anyone else? I think probably the easiest way to do this is withdraw the motion and the second, and then just go straight to the resolution to vote up or down on it.
And make some kind of amendment to bring it back, or what would we do to get it back with a different timeline?
Probably bring it back then for discussion.
Your Honor, I would have a question. If
Yes.
I understand what you're saying, and if we bring it back for discussion, can we have the information on what public safety means and like all the bullet points under that, and what the franchise fee will be for, just so that's fully disclosed and transparent?
Yeah, sure.
Beforehand?
I can put together how I would characterize that, and then I would look for input from council as far as, is that how you would actually like to allocate the funds?
Okay. So what would it be? Would we need to just do a motion to move it to a discussion?
I think probably the best way to do it is to rescind the motion in the second. So then we're back to the resolution here and vote. If you want to keep it the way it is, vote yes. And if you want to send it back to discuss and move the timeline, that kind of thing, and get more information, then you would vote it down.
I would be for just getting because if we move forward with it, can we get the information at the next time? Like the one I'm asking for? Like
At the next meeting?
Yep, at the next meeting.
We can put it on discussion for the next meeting if you'd like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can, Your Honor, we can do that either way, right?
Yes.
Your Honor,
Yes.
question?
Yes.
Carol, if we vote down this resolution to fix a date for a public hearing, how do we bring it back? We've basically killed the 3 readings of the ordinance.
I
And
think
I don't see how it can come back by our rules.
this version of it, I mean, there's some specifics in the resolution that speak to the timeline. I think we can bring back a different version of the ordinance, at least, or I'm sorry, the resolution, which would be my interpretation of it.
I don't understand what we're failing to understand. There's going to be a petition. It's going to force an election. We need to vote down the ordinance and just go to a different topic of bringing forward an election. I mean, what's the point we're missing here?
Isn't that a new item? If we bring it forward with the new things, we have to do it in the next meeting anyway for an open meeting?
Is that for me?
I'm not sure. Is that, who are you? Okay.
So honestly, getting back to Councilor Schneider's comment, this council voted to bring it through to three ordinance readings. So basically, we made that statement by saying we're not putting it on a ballot. So in all honesty, if we vote this down tonight, which I want to do, because we didn't listen to the public in the first place, I don't see legally how either one of these can come back as a 3-reading ordinance or as us setting an election date until next council. I guess we need legal to advise us.
Yeah, I mean, my interpretation would be that in a different version of this, resetting the timeline would be considered a new item. But like Councilor Thompson said, I'd have to get legal review to confirm that.
Yes.
Is there a way to table this issue until we find that information?
Yes. Yes, we can.
What would be the procedure that one would go about?
I think you can
to
make
do
a
that?
motion to table the item. I don't know if I'd have to look at I don't know if it's tabling to a date certain. Is that what you're asking? Bring it back at a date certain?
We just
Yeah.
have to table it, and then we could decide that. Or we can do it at a date certain. We can do either one.
I just want to clarify, do we have an amendment on the table with?
We do have an amendment on the table.
It wasn't an official motion. He just made a comment about
Okay.
making an amendment. I don't believe we have a second.
Okay.
So yes, you can make a motion to table or a motion to postpone to a specific date.
Your Honor, I make a motion to table this for further discussion. I don't have a specific date in mind, but I think with guidance from the administration, we could pinpoint that date down a little bit more at
Okay.
future meeting.
Do I have a second? Okay. Motion to table died for lack of a second. So, do we move straight on to the resolution? Oh, go ahead. You've been standing there. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'm just getting confused. So you can't just like not do this one specifically and do something very similar by like bringing it forward again and then voting on it again?
It would have to be substantially different. The dates, changing the dates and that would be different.
Okay. So I'm just trying to make clear that if this is voted down, this isn't like fully over forever. Cool. Okay.
Well,
You have a motion and a second?
I believe we do.
Yes, we have a motion and a second to approve the resolution.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Fonseca,
Yes.
Mitchell,
No?
Nichols,
No.
Schneider,
Yes.
Thompson,
No.
Yepes Gomez,
Yes.
Cahill,
No.
Okay, motion failed. Does that affect number 9 then?
We'll have to vote separately on number 9.
Okay.
So this is the same, similar item, except for this particular resolution related, I'm sorry, you need to get a motion and a second first.
Move to approve.
resolution to fix a date for the public hearing on proposed ordinance amendment to increase a franchise fee under the city's electric utility franchise with Interstate Power and Light Company and to adopt a revenue purpose statement related to the franchise fee.
I hear a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
And second.
I have a motion and a second. Questions or comments?
So this item is a resolution to adopt a revenue purpose statement and set the public hearing for a 3% electric utility franchise fee with Interstate Power and Light versus a gas utility franchise fee.
Okay. Any questions? Anything from the public? Roll call, please.
Nichols,
No.
Schneider,
Yes.
Thompson,
Nope.
Yepes Gomez,
Yes.
Cahill,
No.
Fonseca,
Yes.
Mitchell,
No.
Okay. Moving on to number 10.
resolution to fix a date for the public hearing on ordinance granting an electric utility franchise to Consumers Energy Cooperative, establishing a franchise fee and adopting a revenue purpose statement related to a franchise fee.
Move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second.
Similar to the first two items, this is to adopt a revenue purpose statement and set a public hearing granting a electric utility franchise fee and a proposed 3% I'm sorry, granting a electric utility franchise and proposing a 3% electric utility franchise fee with Consumers Energy Cooperative.
Any questions or comments up here? Anything from the public? Roll call, please.
Thompson?
No.
Yepes Gomez?
Yes.
Cahill?
No.
Fonseca?
Yes.
Mitchell?
No.
Nichols?
No.
Schneider?
Yes.
Okay. That one also failed. Okay, moving on to number 11.
Resolution to approve transfers for a 9-month period ending March 31st, 2026.
Move to approve.
Or a second? I have a motion and a second. Are there any questions or comments? Roll call, please. Okay.
Sorry.
You have a question?
Yeah, I don't want to let Gary down. I asked to pull it. So this is resolutions to make transfers due to us being over budget on some items. I just want to make a comment. I think we're misusing the consent agenda. Unless every one of you up here fully understands what this resolution is about, you can't put this on a consent agenda. It needs to be
Your Honor?
an open discussion.
Your Honor,
Mark
can you-
Eaton,
Name and
1007
address?
South Alabama.
Hold on just a
Name and
second.
address? No name and address.
Name and address again?
Mark Eaton, 1007 South 10th Avenue.
Thank you. Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Yepes Gomez?
Yes.
Cahill?
Yes.
Fonseca?
Yes.
Mitchell?
No.
Nichols?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Item 16.
Resolution ordering construction for the 2026 Street Rehabilitation Project, HMA number STR 26002, setting a public hearing on proposed plan specification, form of contract and opinion of probable cause, and directing publication of notice to bidders.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments up here?
Your Honor, if I may quickly.
Yes.
This is good news. This is some streets getting mill and overlay. Would have been a little better for us and for the public to just, if the streets would have been listed, the cross-street starting and stopping points, but within this document, thank you, Alicia, just pulled up a map. That's probably the easiest way to see it. This is a $2.5 million project that hopefully starts a trend that we do some streets every year. This has been long overdue. I've been on the council for over 6 years. This is good news. Understand that all streets can't take mill and overlay. There's a lot of streets that need rebuilt underneath the top surface, but this is a start, a small start. Sorry, Mark.
Okay. All right. Roll call, please.
Fonseca?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Nichols? Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Yepes Gomez?
Yes.
Cahill?
Yes.
Okay. Number 17.
Resolution approving contract change order number 6 for the Water Plaza at Mega 10 Park project number PRK 22004, a decrease of $12,826.
I have a motion to approve.
I move to approve.
Second.
Okay. Questions or comments? Someone from the public? We probably ought to have Kelsey quickly, hold on just a second. I got
That's okay.
Let's let Kelsey just, what is this? It's a decrease in the project.
That's okay, I think it's good.
It'll be okay. We'll be okay. You'll get up here.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Kelsey Stafford, Park and Recreation Director. Presented for your approval is a change order number 6 to the Mega 10 Water Plaza project, a decrease of $12,826. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Lee Botter, 401 Orchard Drive. I am the co-founder of First Splash for Life, and yesterday I went to visit the Water Plaza. I sat on the benches, reflecting the journey that we've been on since the 4 children drowned in the Iowa River the summer of 2012. And the grassroots drive began to bring a splash pad to Marshalltown. As I sat, I wept once again, tears of gratitude, but also tears of grief and frustration. I want to share my observations from yesterday. On the positive side, this will be a cooling down place for families. There's not going to be a charge to use this. Some of our splash ideas are incorporated, including no standing water, because that would be a drowning hazard. It is ADA compliant. A person in a wheelchair or a walker will be able to access the area. It appears some of the Vortex equipment has been installed. Vortex is the international company specializing in splash pads that we had been working with. There's outside showers to rinse off, security cameras, QR codes built into the access history on the project. There's the fun artistic elements. Although I am beyond grateful for the plaza, I also grieve that no acknowledgement or mention of the 4 children that lost their lives was seen anywhere. I sat and I cried for the moms and families that lost their babies that tragic summer. After being dismissed from the design team, promises that were made to us by many people to include some kind of dedication acknowledgement of the children. It's not been done. I was advised one family did not want to be included and other families could not be found. There is a wall of acknowledgement with the Abgar family history, which is actually pretty cool. I read it and looked at it, and listing donors and organizations, but there was no mention of the children that lost their lives. This acknowledgement could have been a simple statement on a plaque. We honor the families of the 4 young lives taken by the Iowa River, summer of 2012. This is not a splash pad, as it does not include the interactive water features designed to encourage growth for our children. After being dismissed from the design team, promises were also made to us to include areas where the splash pad features and expansion could occur in the future. I did not see any places that were plumbed in to allow for future expansion. I was very close, went over the pad very closely on that. Since there is a change order of $1288.26, that's awesome, but where's the money going to? Is it going back to the $500,000 bond that was to be used for a splash pad, which now has to be called the Water Plaza, or is it going back to Riverview Park? So here's my proposal. I encourage that $12,826 go back to the bond fund. It also appears by the numbers that there's an excess of almost $164,000 between project expenses and project funding. I am asking you to give direction to Park and Rec to partner with our Splash for Life team to go back and explore opportunities to bring a small neighborhood-based splash pad to Marshalltown. This would include part of the funding coming from leftover bond proceeds and donations that we've made, any future fundraising that we would do that would be earmarked for a splash pad. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Lee.
Good evening, Kelsey Stafford, Park and Recreation Director. The Apgar Family Water Plaza is in the final stages of active construction work and is not yet fully complete. We are almost there and are so excited to unveil all the final elements, including the installation of an element honoring all who have experienced loss connected to water. Please save the date for the grand opening of the Apgar Family Water Plaza on Saturday, June 6th, when construction will be complete and all final elements will be unveiled and shared with the community. The grand opening ceremony and ribbon cutting will take place from 10 to 11 a.m., with the Water Plaza officially opening to the public immediately following at 11 a.m. We would like to thank all of our partners who have helped take this years-long project in the making to reality. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelsey. Any other questions or comments?
Lonnie Hoagland, 1408 East Main Street. I'd like to say with as good a happy demeanor as I can that I've witnessed, I viewed the place Friday morning, and I'd like to be addressing the school board instead of a council, because someone needs to teach our community they need to respect stuff, because it was toilet paper on the floor in brand new restrooms. There was something brown in a toilet that wasn't flushed, and it's terrible that we're not giving pride in something that's brand new. So the police can't watch everything. just try and instill pride somehow.
Thank you, Lonnie. Anyone else?
Your Honor, for me,
Yes, you may.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the 12/8/26 to go back to the bond fund. Also, I'd like to send to the Park and Rec staff to work with Splash for Life team for the future of a small neighborhood splash pad. It could be used to help pay for the neighborhood splash pad. I'd like to see it put on the north side where it's closer to the river so that kids would not be playing in the river and have a decent place to cool off. Thank you.
Do I have a second on that?
Is that an amendment to the motion that's on the table?
Yes.
Do I hear a second? Motion died for lack of second. Let's have roll call, please.
Nichols?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Yepes Gomez?
Yes.
Cahill?
Yes.
Fonseca?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to reports. Impact Quarterly Update. Mr. Hicks.
Good evening, Council. David Hicks, Senior Director of Community Engagement for YSS of Marshall County, 22 North Center Street. Quarterly update, but I'll give you a bonus month of April, so I'll do year-to-date stats. January to April, 92 calls for service were responded to by our impact advocates. That's 178 people. Of those 92 calls, 20% were homeless, 18% family conflict, 17% mental health. Juvenile issues were 10%. If you combine those four, that's 65% of the calls we've responded to. We also track substance abuse issues, domestic violence, and working with the elderly among our stats. We also continue to track major incidents. So January through April, we responded to several suicides, death notifications, serious accidents, and fires. So we're going to start tracking those serious incidents that we respond to. 92 calls are certainly outpacing our count from last year at this time by 20. For follow-ups, we've followed up with 146 follow-up visits involving 322 people. Homelessness and mental health make up 63% of all of those follow-ups. So of those 92 calls for service, all 92 officers immediately were able to go back out into the field, and 89 of those 92 calls for services, clients accepted the recommendations of the advocate. Using donations such as United Way and those who contribute to Impact, we provided 10 nights in hotels for 13 people during those 4 months in 2026. Again, the budget that we have with Impact does not cover hotel stays, but we certainly see that as a significant issue. So using donations helps us buy some time for those people who are homeless or in a circumstance that presents outdoor sleeping to be of danger. Several cases we're working with. We have an eviction with the county that we've been working with of a city resident who's wheelchair-bound, elderly, and has a lot of physical and mental health issues. So that's been a challenge working with their advocates and the ER. We feel that that person needs to probably go to an assisted living facility, but that's not an easy process and not a quick overnight solution. Last Thursday, Chief Jones, Sheriff Phillips, Jail Administrator Pat White, and myself, along with the coordination of Judge Sharon Greer, we will able to meet with Iowa Attorney General Brenna Bird about the work we're doing with Impact and the city, county, and nonprofit partnership we have with Impact. Her and her team were thoroughly impressed by what we do. The crux of the meeting was to seek out funding beyond the opioid dollars that we're going to be looking at to bring on that third advocate, which we've hired. Later that afternoon, we met with United States Attorney from the Southern District of Iowa, David Waterman, where we also presented our findings and surveys and data with Impact. He was also very impressed and has turned those numbers over to his team to also look at some future funding for impact, whether that's Department of Justice grants, something coming down through the legal system, but continuing impact is certainly the priority. And with Attorney General Brenna Bird certainly impressed by what we do. Her team as well is going to be seeking out funding as well. So just a great 4 months again, kicking off to 2026. Our numbers are certainly outpacing previous year. And it's also just good to get in front of the Attorney General to listen to what we do and her goodwill she sends to the City of Marshalltown and the partnership we have developed. Any questions?
Anyone have any questions?
Your Honor. I just wanted to speak very highly of Mr. Hicks and his team. They spoke at the college's homeless symposium that was attended by a good number of community people, bringing alive what they do and how the work that they do can help prevent or can assist those who are experiencing issues in homelessness or in general mental health. So I wanted to applaud them. I think that you probably don't document how many education opportunities you have that you have done. I think I saw your name in the paper at a couple of other events coming up, but I know you've spoken to a lot of groups, and I think that is a statistic you should probably also report to us, just to say we are informing this many people about our programs.
Yeah, we do document our community engagement activities, and I think I've lost track of other municipalities across the state who have said, can you bring impact to this community? Can you bring it there? And this is our baby. I'll advise to a certain extent, but I don't want to give away our secret sauce or our secrets because we've developed this based on input from the community and with our Marshalltown Police Department partners. So just grateful again for another opportunity to do this really innovative and unique work.
Okay. My question is, as costs are going up for everyone, the city, personally, gas, everything is going up. Are you seeing an increase in calls? Is there a correlation to that?
I don't know if we can attribute it to cost, but certainly
or the stress.
People have more month than money these days, which contributes to an already maybe a tenuous situation at home, whether that's mental health, and quite frankly, a lot of people are one paycheck away from homelessness. Very concerning situation that exacerbates relationship issues at home. You just see symptoms of greater issues going on, and the economy can also be a factor of that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all.
Okay, moving on to motions.
Just public comment, I think. I don't know if we're taking it on reports or not.
Okay, come on up. You got to be a little quicker there, bud.
Tim Bradbury, 12 North 10th. My question is how much is this related to? Is it people just coming through town, or is most of our service to people that's stationary in our local residents? Or do we see an influx of people traveling town to town and getting assistance that they need or want?
David.
Yeah, good question. We do see some transient population coming through. And, if the police are notified, we're going to respond, whether they're residents of Marshalltown or just passing through. So we've had some circumstances of people coming into town, running out of gas, needing a place to stay. We try and triage that as best as we can. Using donations, we want to be mindful of that. So there's going to be times where we can help, sometimes we cannot help. It just depends on the circumstance.
Okay.
Yep. And some people just call us and say, yeah, I'm homeless, I need a hotel stay for the night. Doesn't work like that at all. We have a survey that we go through, triage that, do outreach. And if you've had a hotel stay before, we typically know your history, what you're going to be doing. And unfortunately, we had one incident where we put up a family for one night. We have to use the YSS credit card and then donations to pay that off. The hotel clerk the family asked the hotel clerk for another night of stay. The hotel clerk said, sure. Put another hotel stay on the YSS credit card without any sort of involvement with us. So kind of put a stop to that. And then we have a contract that we work out with those we put in the hotel in the hotel, that they are responsible for any damages beyond what they do. So,
Thank you.
Excuse me, David, do you have some estimate of what, mostly though, you deal with residents of Marshalltown?
yeah,
correct?
yep, 99.5% of the time it is Marshalltown residents. But if we get a call for a transient coming through, we will respond. Yeah.
Okay, moving on to motions.
Motion to approve a 5-day special Class C retail alcohol license for Lucky Wife Wine Slushies for the Marshall County Fair at 1308 East Olive Street, July 9th through July 13th.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? We can wait for you. Okay. Anything from the public? Roll call, please.
Yepes Gomez,
Yes.
Cahill,
Yes.
Fonseca,
Yes.
Mitchell,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Okay. Number 2, please.
Motion to approve an 8-month special Class C retail alcohol license with outdoor service for Midnight Ballroom LLC, DBA Grand Slam Grill at 901 South 6th Street for operation of the softball complex concession stand.
Move to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments?
I have a question, Your Honor.
Yes.
What types of alcohol do they serve there? Is it just beer? Is it, I just don't know, and so I'm just asking for information.
Yes, it's beer products. They don't sell any liquor there.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything from the public? Roll call, please.
Thompson,
Yes.
Yepes Gomez,
Yes.
Cahill,
Yes.
Fonseca,
Yes.
Mitchell,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Moving on to resolutions.
Resolution approving a professional services agreement not to exceed $72,000 with Snyder and Associates for West End Park Phase 2, project number PRK 26001.
Move to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Kelsey?
Good evening, Kelsey Stafford, Park and Recreation Director. The resolution approving a professional services agreement with Snyder and Associates for West End Park Phase 2 presented for Council's approval tonight is a continuation of the discussion item brought forward for Council's consideration last summer. Staff presented an opportunity to partner with Marshalltown Community School District to install a glow trail connecting West End Park to 13th Street, further promoting walkability and trail connection in this neighborhood. We are very excited to proceed with this project following Council's approval of the capital improvement plan to execute the installation of a glow trail through West End Park and a new crossing over Brady Creek. The trail will tie into the existing section of glow trail completed on Marshalltown Community School District property this past fall and connect through the park to the existing shelter. This trail will be the third of its kind in Iowa, while additionally being the first in the state to incorporate all 4 glow aggregate colors. We are also excited to improve the safety of the creek crossing and address maintenance concerns posed by the existing bridge. Staff anticipate that construction bids will be let in late summer or early fall of this year, with construction completion in spring of 2027. Future phases of West End Park improvements will include parking lot expansion, restroom installation, and other items determined through gathering input from the community and key stakeholders. And with that, I'll take any questions that you may have.
Want to have any questions on this?
Your Honor, I do. Sorry.
Go right ahead.
Kelsey, does the trail allow entrance into the track and football field area, or is that going to be open to the public through this trail system?
I cannot speak to whether or not gates would be open and things like that. However, the route of the trail starts at 13th Street at the top of the hill by, I don't know if it was an old ticket booth, but it's kind of a little shelter type structure now. And it comes down the hill and then will wind into West End Park, cross the creek and lead to the shelter. So there's not direct access like running right up to a gate, so to speak. I hope that answers your question.
It does.
Okay, wonderful.
I know
Thank
that
you.
it was initially the school district's portion was built for use by students as well. And so I didn't know if that then allowed access to the track so people could walk the trail over, do a couple of laps on the track, play on the equipment, go back home. I just didn't know the public access.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Anything from the public? Roll call, please.
Nichols?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Yepes Gomez?
Yes.
Cahill?
Yes.
Fonseca?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to number 2.
A public hearing for the Marshalltown Community Development and Housing Needs Assessment, review of the application for the Community Development Block Grant, derecho disaster funds, and authorize ECCOG to submit the CBDG-DR application.
Okay, I announce the public hearing open at 6:41 PM. Can we have staff review, please?
Yes. Following up after Kelsey, that's kind of, I have to do some adjustments. Deb Millizer, Housing and Community Development Director. Mayor and Council, tonight's public hearing is one of the required steps in the city's CBDG-DR application process. The proposed project would support new affordable for-sale housing on scattered infill sites in Marshalltown, serving households at or below 80% of the area median income. This lines up with the city's housing needs assessment, which identifies affordable and workforce housing, owner-occupied housing, infill development as high priorities. The need is real. Marshalltown is projected to need about 600 additional housing units by 2035. The city is looking at a request at approximately $1.98 million in CBDG-DR funds, with 100% of those funds benefiting low and moderate income households. Tonight we also have Paula Mitchell from the ECCOG is here to walk through required public hearing information, and we also have Jeff Ralston from Ralston Eco Homes here as well for development related questions. And so with that, I'd like to bring Paula up, if that would be okay.
Hi, Paula.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. Paula Mitchell, Housing Director for East Central Iowa Council of Governments. We are the grant administrator assisting with this application. And as noted, this is a required public hearing for the CDBG-DR application. So there are 9 prescribed points that are required to be covered and reflected in the minutes. So I will walk through those and stick pretty closely to my script so those can be reflected accurately in the minutes. And then also the second component of this is we are required to take public input and submit a community development and housing needs assessment as part of the application. So I will just stay high level and cover the high priority items. I believe that was in your packet.
You can move the microphone up from Deb level if you want. There you go.
So for the first point, how the need for the proposed activity or project was identified, Marshalltown has determined that new construction of housing for sale is critical to the recovery of the region from the August 2020 derecho and a previous tornado event, and to ease the overall housing shortage that exists in the community. Marshalltown has been engaged in recovery efforts and assessing recovery needs since the disaster events, and the needs of low and moderate income persons in Marshalltown were determined using a combination of public data and city records, which include a draft Reimagine Marshalltown Housing Market Analysis and Action Strategy, a Comprehensive Plan 2030, the Downtown Master Plan, recent City Council discussions, as well as data from the Housing and Urban Development Comprehensive Housing Affordability Strategy and the U.S. Census, American Community Survey 5-year estimates. In addition, input from community stakeholders and city and county officials, staff, and local housing and economic development organizations are incorporated to validate the findings and identify unmet community needs. As noted previously, Marshalltown is projected to need approximately 600 additional units by 2035, or 60 units annually to meet the population and workforce demand. For how the proposed activity or project will be funded and the source of funds, the project will be funded by a developer contribution and a request for an estimated $1,981,407 in community development block grant disaster recovery funding. The date the CDBG DR application will be submitted, an application deadline has not yet been established, but it's estimated that the application will be submitted online no later than June 30th. That's a conservative estimate. The amount of federal funds to be requested for this project, again, is estimated at $1,981,407. The estimated portion of federal funds that will benefit persons of low and moderate income is 100%. Of households will have incomes at or below 80% of the area median income level. Where the proposed activity or project will be located, the proposed activities will be located on scattered sites within the city of Marshalltown, including a combination of city-owned and privately owned parcels. Potential sites include 704 Lee Street, 307 North 13th Avenue, 817 and 819 North 5th Avenue, and 908 South 9th Avenue, with additional sites to be identified and evaluated. Final site selection will be determined by the developers and the city's evaluation of the lot's suitability for both building and marketing. Regarding plans to minimize displacement of persons and businesses as a result of the funded activities or projects, I would note that because none of these proposed project sites are currently occupied, no displacement of residents or businesses is expected to occur. All potential project sites are currently vacant land, some of which are city-owned. The City of Marshalltown has previously adopted a residential anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan, which it will comply with, along with all applicable laws and regulations, including the Uniform Relocation Act. It's specifically noted for purposes of this public hearing that no specific privately owned sites are necessary for the project. The city does not intend to use the power of eminent domain in order to acquire property in conjunction with this project. For plans to assist persons actually displaced, again, because none of the sites are currently occupied, no displacement is expected to occur. And again, the city would comply with all applicable laws and regulations. And finally, for the nature of the proposed project or activity, the purpose of the CDBG-DR New Resilient Affordable Housing Program is intended to help communities to meet replacement housing needs created by the August 10th, 2020 derecho event, and we know that that exacerbated a previous disaster. Affordable for-sale housing constructed through this program must remain affordable for 15 years, and this project will create an estimated 10 new for-sale homes for sale to low and moderate income households. Final benchmarks will be determined by the cost of construction and the amount of the award. All units constructed using CDBG-R funding must first be marketed for 4 months to persons who were impacted by the 2020 derecho, and that is a broad definition, before being offered to other eligible members of the public. That concludes the 9 points, and then I will just briefly cover the high priority needs that were identified as part of the community development and housing needs assessment. Those include specifically regarding the needs of low and moderate income persons, increasing the housing supply across price points, including affordable and workforce housing, the preservation and rehabilitation of existing affordable owner-occupied housing, senior and accessible housing options, first-time homebuyer down payment assistance for low and moderate income households, rental housing quality and availability due to a tight market, and additionally, some non-housing needs included some infrastructure programming, including water distribution system and sanitary sewer improvements, as well as sidewalk infrastructure improvements. And then regarding other community development and housing needs not limited to low and moderate income persons, the highest priority need was neighborhood revitalization generally, including building condition enforcement and code enforcement related improvements to maintain the housing stock. With that, I will turn it back over to you.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? This is a great need in our community. It really is. Affordable housing. Yeah. Does anyone from the public have any questions?
I have one, Your Honor, if I may.
Go right ahead.
What is our probability of getting the federal funds?
I would say that final decisions have to be made by the entire IEDA team, but the team that we have been working with has been very supportive of this application, understands the city's desire to utilize the funds, and we remain in conversation with them. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes.
Could you let us know what would be the approach with getting it to the people who were affected by the derecho first, for the first 4 months, I think you said?
Typically, we use a broad outreach strategy, and we would work with the city to kind of highlight the opportunity through your normal communication channels. But then, in addition, as the grant administrator, ECOG typically looks at organizations that serve the target population, and we would do special outreach to those types of organizations to make sure that we're hitting the right demographic.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Thank you. With that, I'd like to ask for council's approval for ECOG to pursue the grant to apply on our behalf.
Okay. Do we have any written comments?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, is that part of the public hearing, or does that occur? Do we have to close the public hearing?
We have to close the public hearing. Okay. Is there anything from the public? Okay, I call the public hearing closed at 6:51 PM and would entertain a motion to approve.
I move. I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Any questions? Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mitchell? Nichols?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Yepes Gomez?
Yes.
Cahill?
Yes.
Fonseca?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to ordinances.
Ordinance 15119 to amend the Code of Ordinances, City of Marshalltown, Iowa by amending Chapter 53 Stormwater by amending Section 53.006 Rate Structure and Stormwater Rate, third reading.
Good evening, Heather Thomas, Public Works. Tonight is the third and final reading on the stormwater amendments that we had talked about back in the March 23rd council meeting. This modifies the monthly utility rate to $4.60 per ERU or equivalent residential unit. And it also has a built-in annual automatic 1% increase unless otherwise directed by City Council. And with that, I will open this up for questions. This is proposed to go in effect July 1 of this year.
Your Honor,
Do I have a motion?
can I move to approve?
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any questions or comments? This is the third reading. Anything from the public? Roll call, please.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Yepes Gomez?
Yes.
Cahill?
Yes.
Fonseca?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Okay. Ordinance number 2.
Temporary ordinance 15120 of the City of Marshalltown, Iowa to enact and to assist city officials and the RAGBRAI Committee to address public health and safety issues created by the Des Moines Register's annual Great Bicycle Ride Across Iowa, RAGBRAI, when it arrives in Marshalltown on July 22nd, 2026. First reading.
I so move.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Are there any questions or comments?
You want me to provide an overview of the item? Okay.
Sure.
So this is the first reading of a temporary ordinance related to Marshalltown serving as an overnight community for RAGBRAI, which arrives here on July 22nd, as stated in the title of the ordinance. This ordinance is limited to the 2026 event and is not and would not become a permanent part of the city code. It would take effect upon passage and publication and remain in effect through noon on July 23rd, 2026. We're recommending approval of the first reading. Council may consider whether to waive the second reading tonight by motion and approval of 3/4 of all council members. Staff anticipates requesting waiver of the third reading at final consideration so that the ordinance can be adopted in time to support the RAGBRAI planning, vendor coordination, and implementation. And with that, I would invite, Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
Invite John if he wants to come up and say a couple of things. John is the chair of the RAGBRAI Planning Committee.
co-chair, but good evening, Mayor and Council. John Hall with the Marshalltown Area Chamber of Commerce, 34 West Main Street. Yes, thank you for allowing us to be up here tonight and for proposing what is a temporary ordinance in spite of all of my tries to get permanent power and authority over, no, I'm kidding. But this temporary ordinance in order to navigate the RAGBRAI efforts. This ordinance is really modeled off of the example that RAGBRAI provides us. It's very similar to what kind of other cities across the state adopt. I guess the only item of note that I have in there that is specifically different, well, there are a handful of items where we went through specific city code items and just made sure that we were calling out those specific code numbers. And then the vendor fees one, kind of across the state, they're doing blanket fees for nonprofit and for-profit. We were very intentional about offering a lower rate for local businesses in order to potentially serve as vendors. So our fee structure reflects that, which would be different than the majority of the communities across the state. So I'd be happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Does anyone have any questions?
Your Honor, I have a question for
Yes,
John.
go ahead.
Or for, I guess, the whole executive committee. Outside of the expo zone, why are we charging fees for our citizens to be vendors? I mean, I understand from the research I did, you want to license these vendors in the sense that you don't want people coming in from out of state and setting up. But we can still license them, give them a placard that says they're an official vendor. Why do they have to pay the $300 and $500 if they're outside of the expo zone? What's the rationale on that?
I mean, there's frankly a couple of factors. First, if we basically said, hey, if you set up anywhere outside the expo zone, you don't have to pay the vendor fees. What we're likely to end up with is a situation where folks kind of naturally do that, and what ends up happening is then the scattering of the RAGBRAI efforts results in kind of a failing of the concerted effort around RAGBRAI. And that's where you see a lot of communities fail, is when there is much more of a laissez-faire type approach. And that's one of the things that I was very intentional about when we said we were going to take on RAGBRAI. I've been in a number of communities that have done it well and some communities that haven't done it well. And what you see is the more expectation that businesses have about, well, I'm going to set up in front of my business and put on a big beer garden and bring in a big band and all that. The failings that then come out of that, which are many, numerous, and extensive, end up being a poor reflection for the community on RAGBRAI coming through, and become part of then the narrative of, well, we'll never host RAGBRAI again because it's a total waste of money and time and energy. At the same time, we have been approached by a handful of folks that were looking at, maybe deciding to set up shop and do something with food vendor sales outside their business, and the hoops that have to be jumped through from a food safety perspective are incredibly important, as well as the external perception should something happen. One of the key factors of this around safety is we want to make sure that everybody is licensed and appropriately knows how to manage food, both storage of food prior to use as well as during serving, all of those pieces, because one instance of somebody getting sick or something like that can absolutely ruin a RAGBRAI experience for the entire ride and for our entire community going forward. And so a lot of this is just simple controls in place in order to manage what is already going to be a chaotic day, but to try to avoid it from being too overly chaotic.
Do you have any other questions?
You're not satisfied in that answer?
I don't understand. You use the word failure. How does it fail if a church outside of the expo zone makes $10,000 for their church?
Would be great, and they can easily do their, so I should back up. From a vendor perspective, if you have a nonprofit like a church that has indoor space to be able to serve, they can do that without paying a vendor fee. So they don't have to participate and pay the vendor fee.
Bad example. I shouldn't have used a nonprofit, so.
Okay. So,
John, what you're saying is $300 or $500 is minuscule to the effort that has to go into making sure they do it right. And they're going to make so much money, it should not be an issue. Is that what you're telling me?
yeah. Is that what you wanted me to say? No, I mean, the reality is there's a lot of pieces that go into this. There's a lot of costs that we have to bear in order to host the entire thing. We want it to be successful for everybody who has an opportunity to participate. Our communications to the businesses have been sell out. Have a great day. Close up shop early that day because you sold out of everything. Don't overbuy. Don't overstock. Don't expect to absolutely crush it and make up an entire year's worth of sales in one day, because what happens then is you can set yourself up for real failure. We'd rather everybody have a really successful day, and from a vendor perspective, that's much the same way. You know, we're going to promote all of our restaurants and all of the nonprofits or for-profit businesses that decide to offer food that day. We're talking around what our promotion strategies look like for those that are coming to town to ensure that they're aware of all those options and opportunities. And so we're gonna try and lift up and elevate. And again, it'd be really great if all of our businesses ran out of food that day, closed up shop by 5:30, 6 o'clock, took the evening off, came downtown for the live entertainment, and just had a really great day, more than somebody overbuying, planning on big specials, and it just totally flopping.
Anything from anyone else? Okay, do we need to do an amendment to waive a second reading?
Well, it doesn't have to be passed by 3/4 before we could waive it.
Okay.
Got to vote on the first one first.
Yeah. Okay. Anything from the public? Roll call, please.
Fonseca? Yes. Mitchell?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Yepes Gomez?
Yes.
Cahill?
Yes.
Okay. Ordinance number 3, please.
Oh, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
I'd like to make a motion to waive the second reading. We had the necessary votes to be able to allow that.
Okay.
I'll second.
Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Cahill?
Yes.
Fonseca? Yes. Mitchell?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Yepes Gomez?
Yes.
Okay. The final ordinance, number 3.
Ordinance 15121, amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Marshalltown, Iowa by adding a new Chapter 111, establishing requirements for outdoor seating areas on public property. First reading.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second.
This item is the first reading of an ordinance that establishes some requirements for outdoor seating areas on public properties in the Marshalltown Central Business District and the 13th Street District. You had previously discussed this item, I believe it was on April 13th. Following that meeting, staff significantly revised the proposal to create a more administrative type of process, what we would consider to be more business-friendly approval process rather than requiring every license to come back to council for approval. Should staff decline to issue a license, the applicant can appeal that to the council. So there is an appeal process. The revised ordinance still requires businesses to obtain an outdoor seating license before using public property, but the license can be approved administratively by me or a designee. And council would serve as the appeal board, as I mentioned. The intent of this is to balance and support outdoor dining and downtown activity while also protecting public safety, things like pedestrian access, accessibility, maintenance, and our ability to manage public property. So with that, staff would recommend approval of the first reading.
Okay.
Your Honor, I have a question. As I look through what is before us, have you eliminated the cost for the license?
You would set the cost by resolution, it would be $75, but that's not part of this ordinance.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Question, Your Honor. So what exactly is the problem we're trying to solve here? What problems have shown up? I can see that we could have rules about clearance on enough so you have ADA clearance on the sidewalks and stuff, but what are we resolving at this point by adding this to, what we got, 6 to 8 businesses that might affect?
Yeah, it's roughly that, I think. I think it's just a proactive step to make sure that we are reviewing these types of plans and make sure pedestrian walkways are unobstructed, that, we're not creating safety hazards. I don't know of any particular safety hazard that we've had to address as a result of one of these, but I do hope that with our efforts to, restore or refurbish our downtown, that we will see more of these types of requests, and that needing to have some way to review plans for that and ensuring public safety, I think, is a priority for me, for us. So I would just ask that council approve the first reading.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes, you may.
I agree with Councilor Nichols. I don't see the problem we're trying to fix. We have other ordinances. The businesses have their own liability insurance. We have the ordinance, like Councilor Nichols said, that, the sidewalk has to be so much free for traffic. I just don't understand what we're doing here. It's a problem looking for a solution that doesn't exist, so.
Your Honor?
Yes.
I think this will be okay. It's not like it's going to keep businesses from putting up a table and chairs and things like that. It's just a formal process of when they would like to do that. And I think that and we're thinking about public safety and everything, the bikes and scooters and electric things we ride. I think it should be good to do this.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes.
Carol, where does the licensing fee come in? Again, I appreciate that we are asking for information and making sure that again, our sidewalks and our places are free, but I'm trying to justify, what are we using that administrative $75 licensing fee for?
It's really to cover admin costs, to review the application and to approve it. That's what it's for. We kind of calculated the amount of time we thought it would take to review such an application. But, council would set the fee, so it could be set at lower, if that's.
That's something that will come forward in a different ordinance?
I believe it'll be set by resolution.
Okay, at a different date. Is that correct? Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any comments from the public? I have a motion and a second, correct? Roll call, please.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Nichols?
No.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
No.
Yepes Gomez?
Yes.
Cahill?
Yes.
Fonseca?
Yes.
Okay. Our last item is a discussion item, Center Street Viaduct railing option. Come on up.
Hello, evening. Ben Daleski, Civil Engineer 2. Here to discuss kind of the railing option we have for the Center Street Viaduct. I think in my memo kind of talked about a little bit of the history. It sounded like in the beginning process in 2022, the city evaluated a potential alternate option to replace the existing fencing with new chain link. However, at that time, council direction was to retain and repaint the original railing system. So kind of in February 2026 here, when the bids went out, it was mentioned again that maybe we would do that option of doing the alternate option of replacing the existing fencing with the chain link. So we went to Boulder and asked them what their thoughts were on that and what if they could give us a price. So they have given us a price that it would not be cheaper. The proposed new railing would be $109,000 more for the contract. So that's kind of what we received from Boulder. So I think that's, not sure where your guys' direction you'd want to go down that road of replacing the fencing or kind of stick with what the contract requires is to paint the fence or get the paint off the fencing and then paint it again. So
Donner?
Yes.
I have a question.
Yep.
What's the shape of, I mean, that metal fencing that's there has been in there a long time. How rusted out is that? How much repairs?
I can show you some pictures here. I brought. So here's, I guess the one on the left here is just the new concrete, obviously, that was done underneath it. The paint is pretty much peeling away. This is one of the, on the right side is one of the, probably the worst, I guess, spots that you can see where the railing is no longer there and is kind of deteriorated. There's some additional, I mean, it's, that first picture is pretty typical of what all the railing looks like in that vaulted abutment area. And then in kind of the viaduct area where it's attached to the side, that's kind of a picture on the right of what it looks like. And they would be looking to sandblast and paint that area. Here, and another, I guess, image of what is there. I guess just a little more, I guess, more history on the, I think, of the railing itself. In 2005, when they had done kind of the rehab, all those posts were new, and then the existing in-between railings were sandblasted and painted. So I don't know if the type of paint or what caused, obviously a lot of salt to try to make sure we preside safe for the traveling public, but so yeah.
So what's the solution for the rusted out one and that kind of stuff? And what kind of warranty will Boulder make on how long refurbishing that existing one will last?
I think we'd probably see, I mean, knowing that these posts were from 2025, I think if we're going to even put new railing in, we're going to probably look at the same outcome, knowing that 20 years down the line, just with the way the salt, and we would need to, this is just for a vinyl, a vinyl coated chain link fence, and then the posts themselves aren't, galvanized or, to get that extra, corrosion protection would cost, that was not in their bid to add, extra corrosion protection. So that's, in a spot like this, the one on the right, I guess, I would say we'd have them, sandblast it, and if we need to do some welding or something along those lines, just for those. There's probably 3 or 4 locations like that aren't, ideal. That's a good question. I don't know the gauge. So, you mean of the fence that they're proposing, or the? Okay.
Two choices, I understand it. Repurpose system.
Yes, correct. Yes, correct. Well, yeah. I guess I did not look at the specifications to see what the thickness of the chain link, or not of this, of the posts, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Your Honor,
Yes.
have they given us a warranty estimate if we did replace this with the chain link fence?
They have not given us an estimate of what, I'm just kind of going off of from the last time.
Yeah, I appreciate the historical look of these. The chain link would be maybe a little detrimental, although you can barely see a black chain link fence. But I know there was some safety concerns cited by the railroad and also by, I think, the engineering department and city staff.
Mm-hmm.
These things look like they are roached out. I don't know that they're savable or it's worth our time and money trying to save them. So I think I'd be in favor of the chain link.
The chain link would be vinyl coated?
Yes, it'd
be vinyl coated.
Yeah, vinyl
black.
coated, and I guess to answer your question, or regarding the UP area, there would be about 660 feet of 10-foot tall. So like in that area of the UP, it would be the 10-foot, and then the most, that all the other areas, it'd be the 4-foot. So.
Your Honor, if I may?
Yes.
Hey, Ben, I understand Boulder has the contract for the viaduct.
Correct.
But we could very easily do a change order, take the railing away from them, and go out for bid for other fence companies to get us competitive bids for the chain link fence. Is that correct?
That would be an option, yes, I guess.
Because part of the existing contract with Boulder is, you correct me if I'm wrong, are they to remove all of the existing railing to be repainted in the first place?
They're to sandblast it and paint it. It was not specified in the contract that they were required to take it off and paint it. It was not required for them.
Okay, I agree with Counselor Schneider that as much as I love history, this is not serving a purpose anymore. I'm in favor of the chain link, the black chain link fence. And if we have to go out for other bids, I'll do whatever I can to support that change.
And I, based on safety concerns, I was leaning towards the chain link fence anyway. But I see the shape of some of these railings, and unless we're talking about they're going to replace all this stuff, I don't see how this is going to give us the life we need. Understanding that the new stuff isn't going to give us, it's still going to face a corrosion thing. But this has faced it already for 20 years.
One more thing, Your Honor, if I may?
Yes.
I've got to believe your $109,000 additional cost is going to go away when Boulder gives us all the change orders for repairing this stuff once they start sandblasting it. So I think that number is not a hard set number for us. I think the chain link is the economical way to go, plus the safety way to go. And it looks like it's been holding up pretty good on 3rd Avenue.
One more thing, Your Honor. Could we maybe direct staff to come back and give us a few options for changing the fence, chain link, or is there something that is maybe a little more fashionable than chain link that wouldn't add a lot of cost? I think I would like to see all the options before we vote, but I don't see how this current railing is savable.
I do know that when you grit blast something like that, the surface may look good, but you have no idea how thin it is underneath. And it looks pretty for a little bit until it doesn't. and I think it's good money after bad trying to repair it myself. But, so what would the council like to do here?
Your Honor, I agree with Councilman Schneider. Let's get some options and see something more fashionable.
Okay.
A little bit.
I will take a shot at a motion then, unless, Sue, do you want to? Like,
All about fashion, though. So go the fashionable way.
I can tell.
I would
The
like
other
to,
stuff
It's
is
Center
kind of
Street.
ugly.
I'd make the motion to direct staff to investigate options, give us some more information on the warranty of the chain link. As Councilman Thompson said, what is the feasibility going out for other bids? And then maybe what would be a more aesthetically pleasing option.
Second.
Okay. I have a motion and a second for that. Is there any questions or comments?
I think there's a public comment.
Well, I have a question back here.
Lonnie Hoagland, 1408 East Main. I'd like to think I'm a mechanical kind of person, and I remember when they took it all off and sandblasted it. I believe it was Spectrum powder coating. It takes a long time to do that, and it was a tedious thing, and I'm with you. I think what's there is, it's old. It was redone 20 years ago, but I don't know when they made the bridge. I am a tow company that took care of a fatality across the street from O'Reilly's. Car went over the railing and landed upside down, and one of my tow truck guys had to take the day off because he saw stuff he didn't need to see. I would be in favor of some chain link thing. As you see them bolts holding it to the bridge, you can't really take those off and refasten it. It's not a good plan. I'm kind of sad that this wasn't thought about before we started working on the bridge. And now you're working on it, now you're figuring out which way you're going to do it. But I would say make a good chain link fence, buy the best you can get. Maybe put I don't want it to look bad, but put some kind of cable in there. So in case a car goes overboard, just from a mechanical state, that railing is done. Good luck.
Thank you. Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Yepes Gomez?
Yes.
Cahill?
Yes.
Fonseca?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Okay. That is the end of our meeting. Meeting adjourned at 7:22 p.m. Public safety chiefs